Happy holidays and welcome to the Cutie Crusaders, episode 26 for December 25th, 2012. I don't know how we possibly got ourselves in a situation where we're airing on Christmas, but hey, this is the cards that were dealt, so we're gonna go with it. Whee! So, normally we give shoutouts to people who help us out on the show at the end, but you probably have already noticed not only the music for our intro, but also our freaking adorable icons on the screen. So we're gonna get into the people who've made that for us in just a moment. But first of all, I'd like to introduce everyone. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Rainbow Plasma. I'm the organizer and editor of the podcast, and today I'm joined by
A sick Burndle 1, and I am the special guest coordinator and also the editor.
Oh, hope you feel better, Burned. I'm PhotoGuy317, and I'm the art coordinator on the show.
And I'm Pinky Dash. I provide the charisma to the show.
Comic relief.
the Moxie.
Comic relief, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, Burned is sick this week.
I think it's fitting that my icon has me eating a candy cane.
No, okay, wait, chill. We'll get these things one at a time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah.
So one at a time. Burned is sick. Meh. It sucks. So he's not going to be talking that much. He shouldn't be talking that much. We're going to make sure he doesn't talk that much. That he doesn't, mess up his throat. But this week we've got something extra. So to replace Burned, not to replace Burned.
Oh.
Nobody's ever replaced Burned. But to as a temporary buff for the show, we've got someone very special on. We've got someone by the name of Sir Certix. So Sir Certix, can you say hi?
Hello, I'm Sir Certix. I'm here to look pretty.
I'm here to look pretty and put them all out of pretty.
It's true. He's
so there's a story behind Sir, because Sir is Sir was when we originally started our old podcast before the Cutie Crusaders, the one that got picked up. We originally had 5 of us, and it was me, Pinky Dash, Flag Guy, Burned, and Sir. And it just so happened that during our first recording, Sir couldn't make it, and it ended up that he did, it didn't match with the time of the week. And so it ended up just being the 4 of us. So I always think of Sir as part of the QR Crusaders history, as kind of like the unofficial 5th member.
He's our East Division.
So I thought it'd be really interesting this week, just to kind of get him on and, have him on. I don't know what else to say.
If I remember correctly, the first week I couldn't come is because I had a play rehearsal.
Yeah, and then after that it was just it just kind of ended up working out that you didn't have any time, and 5 people was a lot on the podcast, and one thing led to another, and it just ended up not working out. Especially now that you're off at university, like me, and so you kind of have like a roommate, and that doesn't work out. So, but you're on the holiday break now, like everyone else here. We're all having a good time off, and I thought I'd have you on as a cool little extra here, and it just so happened to work out because Burned can't talk. So Sir will be our 4th this week.
So he's our Rambler this week.
Yep.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Not sure I can match Burned and talking, but see what I can do.
Yeah.
Totally know.
Okay, so we've introduced Sir, Burned sick. What else do we have to talk about? So we have we had holiday music at the very beginning, and thank you very, very much to Percussion Brony. Percussion Brony's been sending us in music, and that's what you can hear in the background of a lot of our episodes. And he's been sending them in randomly. And I asked him about a week ago. I asked him if he could make some holiday themed music. Just for the show, because we wanted something very special. And he put his nose to the grindstone and came up with a couple of songs, and that's really awesome of him, and to be able to do that when we request it, because we know it takes a while to make music. So thank you very much, Percussion Brony, for doing that.
You're awesome.
Mm-hmm. Also, Pinky Dash, we have some new icons this week.
We do. As you can see below, we are each holiday themed. I'm eating a candy cane and I have a silver star on me because
I'm a reindeer.
Yeah, we're all super adorable.
I'm adorable.
We are. And I want to give a huge shout out to the person who made them, which is Silver Rain Clouds over on DeviantArt, and probably in the chat as well, because always there.
We love you.
We do. She's a great friend of the show and of each of us individually. So
yeah. So again, we just kind of asked her if she could pop on some avatars for us, and that was really awesome. And it took off some heat from us for kind of prepping for this podcast. So great shout out to her as well, because that is awesome.
Fantastic.
That people can do that.
We're all adorable.
Yeah, it's so adorable. It came out really, really well, and we all love it.
Yeah.
No holiday icon for Sir, but Sir can just have his little thing that I made for him. His awesome OC.
It's adorable enough.
Yeah.
Well, it'll
It shall
count.
do.
Yeah.
You're
I'll
gonna
throw
have to
some
like smush
mistletoe
it.
on it.
You're gonna have to
We'll
like
figure it out.
smush him in there somewhere, Bernd. Good
Yeah.
luck with that. Okay, so some other things to talk about. So this is episode 26, and we've been doing this for 26 weeks straight, which, first of all, is a great accomplishment. So I'd like everyone to just give a round of applause for the fact that somehow we've managed to do one every single week for
Yay.
26 weeks. So
Bang.
I'd like to
Yay.
personally applaud you, because without you, we wouldn't have stuck with it. I
Pretty
think.
much.
I know I'm stupid like that.
Oh.
I don't think without you we would have even started this.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this for 26 weeks, which is half a year, which is really awesome. It just so happened to coincide with the holidays.
It's so weird. Everything's like so coincidental.
Yeah, everything is coming together this episode. That's why our intro is so freaking long. And I'm gonna add one more thing to this, because on top of everything, we run an art show, and part of the reason that this art show is, at least why I assume it's so popular, is because we're just four guys who are average artists, talking to other average artists and above average artists, evidently, but just kind of chilling back. We're not like people who have made super fantastic things for years and know every single bit of theory. We're just average guys who are talking to other average guys and girls about art. But occasionally we come out with moments that we are kind of proud of, and something that we were proud of in the last few weeks was Bernd's little painting that really came out amazing. And so
I don't think it's
Yeah.
that little, to be honest.
yeah, it was huge, and it was awesome. And so like we want to take those opportunities when we kind of have it's our show, we can kind of put our own stuff in here. So this last week I released something that I'd been working on for about 3 weeks. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to kind of pimp it out, because it's something that like I've never spent this much time on one project, and it came out really well. So a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned what's the piece of art that you would look at for the rest of your life, and I mentioned something by Tia Maito, who has now changed his name, of course, to something else, Mr. Tia. But it was this Rainbow Dash piece, and it's been my icon for the longest time. And I decided, I think after that episode, that I was like, I want to take on a big vector project. I want to vector this. And so after 3 weeks and about 20 hours of work, I vectored it. So there we go. I just wanted to kind of shout that out, because not only was it something I spent a lot of time on, but I think it came out pretty awesome. And the weird thing about it is that usually when you make something that's like popular, it's like it explodes and you get like however many favorites, and then it just like dies down immediately. But with this one, it's like just been like slowly trickling in like the same amount each, like during the week. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe the difference between making something like popular versus making something like really good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I
that's
just
pretty
wanted to. I don't want to spend.
While we're
like,
on the subject, I'm also in the middle of making something. Just about to upload now, so you should.
Yeah,
be
maybe.
able to
Yeah,
see
maybe we
those
can.
after you see this.
Maybe we can actually mention that next week when you have that like all uploaded and stuff. That'd be cool.
But next week is fan art episode.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
can
cool
throw
one.
yours in there.
We
We can throw yours in there.
We can do what we want.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it kind of relates because the person who
Yeah, exactly.
doing it off has actually made something for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I don't want to spend like 15 minutes on it. I just thought I'd shout that out because it's something I'm super proud of. And for once, it finally makes me feel a little bit like an artist. Because all the vectors I do are like, yeah, they're cool and everything. But like, this is kind of like something I can show to people and be like, this is what I'm capable of, which is really awesome.
Can I just
And I can
say,
also show to all the people who watch the show and just like, oh, right, they are kind of artists. Not just like four
Yeah.
random guys.
can I just say that I really like her main?
Thank you. It took 10 hours total for the main.
Wait, it took you 20 hours? That's an Academy record.
Oh, I hate you so much. I hate you so
Burn
much.
still hasn't seen the episode. Spoilers. Aw.
No, man.
Okay, so that's like 6 different things at once
Yeah.
that we're talking about. We got a bunch of different things. So I guess
Wait,
we should just
are-
move on to the episode.
Are we a talking show or are we an art show? I forget.
Bit of both.
Hey, yeah, we're a show who just talks about ourselves.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm in Arizona right now.
We're
Don't
very,
even
we're very
mention that.
narcissistic.
No, Burn, don't bring up. Okay, people are in different places for the holidays, but dear God, we're going to be here for another 15 minutes talking about what we're doing for the holidays.
Okay,
Let's move on to holiday
Okay,
art.
moving on.
let's move on. So,
Moving on.
this week for our theme, we had Hearths Warming Eve. So it's, just holiday themed, wintry, kind of a whole mishmash of awesomeness.
Except in Australia where it's hot.
Yeah, you're,
And summer.
you're weird and upside down.
Yeah.
So
No.
our first piece is called Hearths Swarming Rarity and Speedy Bell by Stabzor. And
Great name.
It's a vector, which is absolutely adorable.
Right. Occasionally we like to throw, because it's a controversial thing to say, but I think in general vectors are harder to look at and be like, wow, this is an amazing piece of art, and that's one of the reasons why it kind of gets overlooked. But we do like to show vectors because vectors take like a lot more time than people think, and it requires a lot more skill than people think.
Yeah.
Especially because we're all vector artists too, so you know, you're throwing stuff in here.
We can promote our own.
Sir is also a vector artist. So, Sir, what do you think about this piece?
Well, I'd have to say that if they had a episode where they did Caroline, I can imagine it would look pretty much exactly like this. Because I don't see anything that doesn't look like what you'd see in the show. And for what I guess was their intention with this, that's probably the best compliment I can give.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of
Because,
vectors want to do,
you know,
right?
That's what it looks like.
Mhm.
I guess one thing that is bothering me a tiny bit is Rarity's socks or stockings or whatever. Like at the bottom, I'm kind of not sure what's going on there.
I like
What do you
gradient.
mean? Oh, it's like she
Oh,
has
like-
feet?
Like
Oh,
the
she
toes
has
kind of
feet.
thing.
She has like feet?
I think she's just been walking backwards and it's been kind of coming off on the front.
Maybe they're
Maybe.
munching.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that until you said that. But yeah, she kind of has like feet. What is
Rarity
this?
has toes.
Maybe
Lyra's
she was
jealous.
by the fire and her marshmallow legs kind of warmed up, and so now they're like floppy.
Well, hasn't like random little boots canon? Like, what is it when Twilight jumped in her like winter getup? Wasn't she wearing boots?
yeah, and actually they did.
Maybe.
They did.
Yeah,
kinda
they had
bend
like
out in the
toes, didn't
front.
they?
Yeah, they were like actual
Yeah.
yellow boots.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just noticed something quite funny. If you look at Rarity and Sweetie Belle, what they're wearing, they're complete opposites of each other in terms of what's covered.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
it's
Such a nice
adorable.
contrast. Especially I like the hat matches the hair.
Yeah.
So cute. Very, very
Also, I
adorable.
want to
I mean,
point out
come on.
Stabzor, this guy, big on R/MLP vectors and gives a lot of good critiques.
Oh yeah,
Give
props for
him
that.
a shout out.
it's always
He
nice to
did one
see.
for me recently.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah, I mean, like Sir was saying, you know, a lot of vector art. I don't want to say all vector art because vector art is such a huge thing. But traditionally in the MLP fandom, vector art is it's there to kind of imitate the show or, you know, match the show because it looks almost exactly like the show if you do it well enough. And
Because that's how
I
the show's
think
made.
I think it is one of the highest compliments to say something that's original like this. It might be what we like to call Frankensteined, but a lot of this looks original and probably is original. And so to be able to do that and make it look like the show is incredible.
you mentioned r/MLP vectors. If anyone is trying to get into like vector art, that's a great place to get critiques or tips or anything like that. And then there's also r/MLP drawing school, which is great for just general art and stuff. We don't plug those enough, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Burnt,
You're an
you
art
really
show.
love the drawing school.
Yeah.
If you're looking for legitimate like learning and art technique, those are probably places to go.
People
Vector-wise
who
or
are
real art
people who are
wise.
more versed in traditional in traditional techniques and stuff like that.
They'll also take vectors, but it's usually like if you're looking for
It's more for like body shape and posing rather than the
Yeah.
technique.
yeah.
Mhm, mhm,
So awesome. Does anyone have anything else to say about this piece other than it's adorable?
Yeah, that's
Again.
great. No, I think
the-
that's good.
I like
Alright.
the book is interesting. I think that's the last point I have to make because it's like one of those things where like it can be forwards or backwards, that kind of shape. So like I'm
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah,
it and
yeah.
it's curious.
As someone who's
Is-
vectored a book before, they did a very good job because books are like impossible.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So our next piece is called "No Rest for the Weary" by Kitty Cat Bar.
Yes.
This is another adorable piece. This is not really Hearthswarming Eve per se, but it's a wintry kind of theme. So, and it's really well done. So we thought we'd include it.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why this is like the exception is just because it is exceptional. Okay, so
Kitty
as
Cat Bar
tradition,
is very quickly becoming one of my favorite artists on DeviantArt. Very
Yeah.
quickly.
No, I
That's great.
definitely
That's
love her
great.
style.
So as a tradition, I want to start when we have these little like guest hosts, because we're planning on doing this more a little bit in the future. But as a little tradition, I would like to give Sir the first say on these pieces. So, Sir, what do you think about No Rest for the Weary?
Okay, I adore how the snow just, it feels like it's lying on the top of the page. How it's a background, but it's not like just a square piece. That it just feels like it's, I don't know, part of the website somehow. It's sitting there.
Yeah, you've got that like roundness of the sky, and then
So
it
cool.
breaks out of it, like it's overflowing. Like there's so much snow it broke out of the background.
Yeah.
That was a huge reason why we chose this piece, just because like the way that they approached like creating stuff like backgrounds or the outline of a piece was just so different. Like the clouds are all escaping, the snow itself is like spilling out, and even those like barn things on the right are like escaping from this kind of like snow globe.
It makes
Yeah.
it
That's that's something that she does quite well. She does it in a fair amount of her drawings.
Mhm.
She's got really good at it.
Breaking traditional dimensions like that is always awesome because it creates the illusion of depth. So like it makes the clouds feel like they're popping, like Sir was saying, in the snow, and then it also makes Applejack seem more in the foreground.
you stole my thing, Burned.
I
I was gonna say it makes
was
it look
hoping
3D.
someone would get there.
Yeah.
I just noticed that Applejack's sweating, which is a cool detail.
Oh, yeah.
That is legitimate, okay? Because coming from somewhere where there's a lot of snow, although there's no snow where I am right now, what the heck, Canada? But coming from having to shovel snow, people are like, "Well, it's cold outside, and it's like it's below freezing, so you wouldn't sweat when you sweat when
Yeah,
you're
you
shoveling
sweat.
snow.
Yeah, especially
You
when you're wearing
sweat when you're
snow
shoveling
gear.
snow.
I sweat when I ice skate, so yeah.
Yeah, you sweat a lot, so that's a really good little nice touch there. Obviously, someone who's been in the snow and like knows how hard of work it is. Yeah.
The artist also did a great job of separating foreground from midground from background, color-wise and value-wise.
With colours, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They used the shading in the snow and kind of the lumpiness to create those different, like, they gave it hard edges, which kind of makes it look like they're on top of each other. You know?
Also value, just having like the brighter colors in the front and darker in the back. And then
Yeah.
something else that we covered in an episode, they used atmospheric perspective to kind of make the mountains look less detailed and
Yeah.
desaturated, make them in the distance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Something that Kitty Cat Bar is really good at is the amount of detail that she puts into, well, usually the mains. And this one, it's not as pronounced as it is in some of her other ones. But if you ever look on the barn there, you can see a lot of vines, paintings and vines and stuff on the back that you would normally see, but not so often it's in the background like this. But it's in there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying,
Yeah.
Put again?
I really like. No, it's kind of to go off of what Pinky Dash was saying. Is the amount of detail in this piece is just phenomenal. Like if you look at the handle on the winch for the well, there's a little bit of snow on there, and normally like if someone was putting this piece together, they might not think to put snow there, but
Even on like the little crook in the winch, like
Yeah.
above it. Yeah. Also,
And
I think she did a really good job. Is she right?
She.
Okay, thank you. She did a really good job with Applejack's shadow. That's it's like the
Shadows are-
distortion on it, and like just like you can tell exactly where the sun's coming from, and everything matches, and it's great.
shadows are kind of hard to do. At least from what I've done with vectoring, it's probably one of the hardest things that I find, just to try and get the whole perspective down of a shadow. But yeah.
One last thing, I would like to note that the boots are hoof shaped. Interesting. Yeah, like it's got some grip in them.
Are they Uggs?
I think
Look,
they
we'll
are.
just call them boots, and we won't stray into that territory.
They're Ugg boots.
Oh man. Well, Applejack, adorable as always.
Yes. All right. So let's move on to our next piece because we have a lot and not much time. So our next piece is called Dashing Through the Snow by Albino Sharky.
Of course, somebody makes that. Somebody makes that make that pun.
All right. So this piece, which is going to be incredibly hard to show on the screen, so I'd highly recommend if you go to our DeviantArt page and check out our favorites folder, you can see it in its entirety there. But basically, what it is it's a very, very wide piece that encompasses all of the main 6 pulling a sleigh in their own little ways, and Derpy and Spike are sitting inside the sleigh.
I don't know how she got to drive. She's a unicorn. She's a Pegasus.
Yeah, she's a Pegasus. So yeah, this combines a lot of different things, but yeah, sir, you got the floor again.
Take it away.
Okay, I think it's interesting that there appears to be texture in 2 places on this drawing, in the sky and on the sleigh, also the bag, I believe, but like the ponies don't have any texture on them.
Right, like there's some sort of like faded texture.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It
Well, I
doesn't-
always thought of ponies as being like really smooth. I mean, there's some pictures where they're like really fuzzy, and those are awesome. But yeah, I always thought of ponies being like very smooth fur, if anything.
Yeah. Same.
Like a kitty cat.
Also on there's something interesting I think's been done on Pinkie Pie's scarf.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it's a 2-dimensional dots on a 3-dimensional
It does.
Yeah.
scarf.
Like a pattern overlay, but
I mean, it's probably what happened was, and I don't want to, make the artist look bad in any way. But he probably did put it like a 2D overlay of dots on it.
I mean, you're
But you
working
know
in a
what? I
digital
think that kind of
medium,
works
like-
with Pinkie Pie because it's just like
It's
her
magic
pattern
stuff.
doesn't conform to physics.
Yeah.
As her scarf moves, the pattern
Speaking of
doesn't.
physics, look at what Twilight's reading.
Yeah.
Slave physics. I was surprised that Sir, because Sir is a huge fan of rarity, which is like, I don't know, not the opposite of our opinions, but generally the opposite of our opinions.
Contrary.
But Sir is a huge fan of rarity, and rarity just looks awesome here. She's lying on the cord, just like, I can't believe I'm doing so much work. She's great.
Rarity's been growing
What is
on
she-
me lately.
What is she wearing on her feet?
Not sure how they roped Rarity
Looks
into
like
that.
metal boots or
It
something.
looks like steel boots.
What you
Yeah.
did there.
They're something called fashion. Okay.
Right.
It's called
right.
fashion.
You
I
would
think the
know,
unicorn's
Crypto.
the
You
only
wouldn't
one smart
understand.
enough to wear boots.
Wait. Rainbow Plasma knows fashion. That's right. Because
Of course he does.
I
Like
don't
I
know.
said, you would know Cookie Dough.
I'm gonna regret ever revealing that I like cookie dough ice cream. on
There's
the
nothing
show.
wrong with cookie dough.
Look, okay,
the delicious ice
it
cream?
just tastes fantastic. Okay,
Well.
let's just end the conversation there.
Despite Rainbow Plasma's feminine qualities, I think the style of this piece is fantastic. Even in the other one,
It
all
is.
these like unique styles. Like each character has their own unique style to them. Like how their hair is made, how they're posed, their facial expression. And I like how Pinkie Pie has no problem flying.
She's doing like her bouncy
Applejack
thing.
is firmly on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know what Applejack is. I think perhaps what happened in this moment, Rainbow Dash is starting to speed up. So Applejack's like, wait, you can't run that fast.
I want my hair to look like Fluttershy's.
You should.
You
I
should
think
do it.
Burned for Everfree Northwest, you need to cosplay as Fluttershy.
I'll have to get some pink hair dye.
Yeah, but you could totally pull it off.
I was thinking about cutting my hair, but now I don't want it. I need to be able to cosplay.
Really? Ooh.
Mm.
Well, never. Wait a second. Burned with short hair. My goodness. I'm
Don't know if I'd
swooning
ever
as
get
we
used to
speak.
it.
I think I would have to dress up as Pinkie Pie. I think that would have to be a thing.
Oh man.
You just bounce all
Cutie
over the
Crusaders cosplay.
Yeah, no, well, Flutterguy has to
Hey.
go as Fluttershy, and then obviously you're going to be
No,
Rainbow
Flutterguy
Dash.
no, it's Applejack.
I have an Applejack cosplay.
But
Burned.
you're
Have you
Flutterguy.
not heard of Flutterguy's?
No, I've
switch
seen
of
the, I've seen the
allegiance?
photos. It's awesome. It's great.
No, have you not heard of his switch of allegiance?
Oh, no, I haven't actually.
His favorite pony is now Applejack.
Shenanigans.
I know,
So-
right?
So shouldn't he be Apple Guy?
Apple
When
guy.
Maybe he will change his name to Appleguy.
That's awesome. Alright, I guess I'll have to go to Fluttershy then.
I feel
Never mind.
I feel so dirty now.
I mean,
No,
Fluttershy was
Applejack-
just more so much more fitting for you. Like, it's fine if it's not your favorite pony. And we're just talking about what pony
That's
represents you.
Yeah,
That's true.
no. Fluttershy does represent me. But
Yeah.
yeah. But
Do it.
then I cosplayed as Applejack and never looked back.
I've just come up with
Once
something
you go
interesting.
Applejack, you never go back.
It rhymes too.
Man.
I've just found something interesting.
What's up?
The sleigh looks like it's moving really fast if you look at the snow, but none of the ponies look like they're moving except Applejack.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like
Oh yeah.
actually that's a really interesting point.
No,
to
there's a
bring
little
up,
bit
like,
of movement. Like you can tell because Applejack's resisting, and then the sleigh's moving, and all the other ponies are just walking.
That's what I said. It's,
Rarity's
the only,
hanging.
can't
I
tell
think the
except for-
only thing that doesn't work with this is ironically the pony that's holding up something that says sleigh physics. Because the only
Maybe-
one who looks like she's moving slowly, like Rarity is holding on and her hooves are off the ground, so she can be moving as fast as she needs to be. Applejack is trying to slow it down, so obviously it's going fast. All the other ponies are in the air, but then Twilight's on the ground, just like chilling, going really
She's
slow.
just normally mushing. She's trotting along.
she looks like she's going to be tripping on her scarf in a second.
So I think that's the only one that kind of doesn't match that motion.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lack of depiction of motion in Twilight. And it'd
That's
be
too
also,
bad
like,
because I really think the motion in this piece is good otherwise.
Although I
Yeah.
think it could be the irony in how she's reading sleigh physics and not moving.
like the things that this piece has going for it is just like the awesome character styles and like how each character is done, and then just the scene in general. And like the little things don't detract too much because like we could want to add on small details, like more
Absolutely.
and more, you know.
Yeah.
If I may use a term I learned this year in psychology, the gestalt is much more than the little details.
You might need to explain that one.
Gestalt is how we see things as a whole.
What if it's a mountain?
Gotcha.
So you're seeing the what's the term? Is it you're not seeing the forest for the trees? But that's a good thing.
Speaking of the trees are really well done in
Yeah,
this piece.
are they 3D rendered?
I-
Is anybody else getting that vibe?
Kind of.
I'm getting that vibe. If I had any critiques for the piece, it would just be like maybe the horizon composition or the trees seem very simple and one-dimensional. But I mean, it's not about the background in this, it's about the scene.
Yeah, I kind of like the fact that they're not like they're detailed, but they're like kind of like blurred out and kind of in the background. Because like
Definitely.
we were saying, the focus of this piece is the ponies at the front and their expression and how they're dealing with all this. So
Speaking of trees, segue.
all right.
Cool.
Well, as much as I want to keep this piece for as long as possible, because Byrne would have to edit this nightmare.
Let's move on to our next.
Oh, one more thing. Hoof boots.
Yes.
Hoof boots. Okay, sorry.
Also, more scarves. Like we kind of mentioned Pinkie Pie scarf, but all the scarves are cute.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So our next two pieces are actually by the same artist, Lauren Magpie. And the first piece is called My Little Pony FIM Happy Holidays. And it depicts the main six and Spike, and they're actually main six and all the pets.
Yeah, we've actually I thought that we wouldn't have a lot of time this episode, but we've been getting through these pretty well, so we're going to talk about both of these. So yeah, let's just stick with the first one for now.
Yep.
And again, sir, you're up. Batter up.
Okay, so since narcissism seems to be a theme of this
Yes.
show, I like that I like Twilight's narcissism here, having a giant glowing cutie mark on top of the tree, that is signaling that she's the most important.
It's awesome.
Nice.
I think maybe a little overdone on her part. but-
It's gigantic.
It's
and
a
got, like,
star.
this glow.
She's the one that bound them all in the first place, and like they have each one of their cutie marks represented as an ornament. She was the binding factor. If you look, she doesn't have any ornaments on the tree. So.
Can I wait?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone's got their cutie marks. So there's diamonds, there's butterflies, there's apples, but there's no balloons and there's no random
First off,
lightning clouds.
Well,
Pinkie
the
Pie
rainbow
is in
lights-
the tree, and
Yeah.
as Flutter Guy mentioned, there are rainbow lights.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you know what? When you think about it, when you decorate a tree, you're getting ornaments. Like I, for example, like I have, we were just decorating the tree today, and I have like a Toronto Maple Leafs, like a hockey ornament. And so when you think about it, you know, when you're decorating a tree, you have traditional Christmas things, but you have a lot of personal things on there as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like Gummy.
Like gummy. Also,
Hank.
Angel in the corner. They've got all their pets actually, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Tank is
I
a
love
reindeer
the,
like me.
The antlers and the reindeer nose on Tank, who doesn't have
Yep.
a nose.
He's a reindeer like me.
It reminds me of Burnt.
Reindeers are best ponies.
Can we go back and just say how adorable all of our icons are?
Yeah.
Can we just like take a second to be like, oh my god, look at how adorable these are. These are going to be up, by the way. This will be in our favorite folders with everything else. I'm going to ask Silver to put it up on our own page, just so that we can see them again. But oh god, they're so cool. Anyway, sorry. Back to the piece.
So adorable.
So yeah, this piece is interesting because it's kind of dark. It's not like dark as in like horrible story or like sad story kind of thing, but like literally like the lighting is quite dark. Like Owlicious is like creepy in the corner there.
Yeah.
Well, because it's like there's no light. It's just lit from the fire and from the window.
And the tree. But yeah.
No, the value in this is definitely really subtle. It's actually kind of nice because you always see like brightly lit pieces, and something I've been trying to learn recently is like the use of value. So like you have the brightest values in the fire, the window, and rarity, and everything else is
It's
more
a very
dim.
warm feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That fire is really well done.
You get that from the glow as well.
I can't
'Cause-
imagine like dealing with a blur. Like I'm just looking at the blurs from the fire, dealing with a blur of that magnitude, and like trying to export this file is probably a nightmare.
Blur of that magnitude.
Yeah.
No, the
But yeah,
ambient lighting is
it
fantastic.
looks fantastic to me.
Like the
really
glow on Twilight and all the glow on the characters are really realistic, and like Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash. There's not a large separation in distance between like where the fire is and the tree is and the characters, so it looks like Twilight's behind, like in front of the fire, so you can see the light wrapping around her. And then Fluttershy, the light hitting her is like the light is kind of hitting the side, so she's like behind the fireplace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's done well, regardless of
Yeah, the
where
direction
fireplace
of
is
the
located
lighting.
or not.
Yeah.
Can I just draw attention to Opal's face, please?
Who?
So,
Because that's hilarious.
sorry, would you like to repeat that name?
Opalescence.
Oh, Opal.
They
I thought
said
you said
Apple.
Apple. I was like,
you said
I'm
was like,
looking at Applejack.
can you look at Apple's face? I'm like, really? Apple?
I'm like,
What
She's
about it?
reduced to her job now.
her face reminds me of Ed.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Opal there.
Yeah.
Maybe she got some catnip for Christmas.
She needs
I think so.
I think she needs an eye wrangler.
I think it's just one of those you take the photo at the wrong time.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, where are all of those art pieces? Can we get like a derpy like photo art week?
I'm in full support
Yes.
of this.
Oh my god, all of the Ed crossovers ever.
I want to see like maximum red eye in photos and stuff.
Oh, red eye.
Someone in the middle of a sneeze.
And
Rarity doing
real.
duck face.
Duck face. We got a couple duck face rarities.
That's true.
We got a couple of duckface. Got a couple of duckface ponies.
Yeah.
Duckface Amber.
I know. My own pony doing a duck face.
Yeah.
Also, Angel is being grumpy as always, and he should learn to cheer the swear word up because it's Christmas and everyone's being happy.
I don't like Angel Bunny.
No.
Angel Bunny should just chill out, bro. Look, you're in
Maybe-
an adorable Christmas hat, and you're in front of a warm fire, and there's everyone around you who loves you, and maybe you should
You're
just like,
surrounded by ponies. Your life's not
Hey,
so
Angel,
bad.
just take another couple of hops towards the fire.
Oh,
Maybe-
God, that's horrible.
Maybe someone spilled his eggnog.
Oh,
Oh, he's the natural little Scrooge. He has his place. He completes everything.
I've just noticed all their hair and tail looks shiny on all of them. I like that.
I do want to point out the fact that I think the lighting is done very well, especially if you look places like, for example, Fluttershy's tail. Just the way that it really gets that orange glow.
Mhm.
It's fantastic. In
Yeah,
the same
no.
way you were describing the fact that the light creeps around Twilight. It's
Like,
it's
we
great.
saw a little bit of that in the Babs Seed piece that we featured, where the light was coming from behind them.
Yeah.
That's because the light wraps around things. You can see it kind of on the edge, you know.
hmm
And yeah, like
Don't
you were
ask me how
saying,
light works, but
how the color goes into everything, like the color from the fire and then the white from the window.
yeah.
Kind of a random thought, but one of the ways that we were taught about how to depict light, or how some artists used to depict light, was that the brightest thing was outside, or like outside of the window. So the fact that the window is white is what creates the illusion of like that's not inside. That may be the wrong wording.
It's also very frosted, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did a good job with the frosting. Yeah. Sorry,
Okay,
good job with
frosting.
the frosting.
The frost.
Pinky pie.
And with that, stupid. That's my stupid thing of the episode. Let's move
Actually,
on.
that's a perfect segment into our next piece. because there is frosting in the next piece.
Hey.
Hey, which is just called Hearths Warming,
Yeah.
again by Lauren Magpie.
Transitions by Cutie Crusaders.
Hey.
You know, there's something I want to point out in this piece, and it's going to be a little bit of a rant. Before we get into it, I just wanted to point out, we've mentioned before about watermarks, and somebody brought this up to me it's a couple weeks ago, and I've completely forgotten until now. But we were talking about small, subtle watermarks, and this piece in particular does not have a small, subtle watermark. And while normally I would be against that, I believe this artist has had problem in the past with people not only stealing her work, but like maybe tracing over it when she doesn't want it to be done so. So it's watermarks are very, like, in general, watermarks should be small and not in the way and kind of integrated into the piece. But, you know, I can't blame artists who have big watermarks because a lot of the time they do it for a reason. And so it really sucks that like one person has to ruin it for the rest. But unfortunately, that's how it is.
Well, like, as an arguing point, this is by the same artist, and on our last piece, she had a very, very subtle watermark in the bottom right, and on this one, she has more of a signature. And
So
then
I have a
subtle
feeling like
watermark.
something is there's like something like evidently happened with this. Maybe I don't know.
Mhm.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just because
I don't
know.
personally. I don't see an issue with it. It's not too obtrusive.
I know, but it just kind of goes over Fluttershy.
Like, it's fine to have your signature on stuff, and definitely, I kind of like that, to know where it is. So, like, the bottom part, where it has, you know, the artwork by Lauren. Okay, Lauren McLaurin doing art. It's nice to know where it came from, and then her signatures are right, but it's definitely a lot larger than the last one. I don't think it's not quite reaching where it's problematic, you know?
Yeah, but I I was just trying to address the problem that people were saying, like,
Mhm.
you know, artwork does get stolen. It's an unfortunate
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
So
And it also comes down to like what you're making art for. Like as vector artists, sometimes we make art so that other people can use it or, you know, modify it or whatnot. But a lot of times artists are trying to produce original pieces so they can, you know, get it out to the masses, but not have people copy their stuff.
or maybe
So-
they're doing it for a living, and so, you know, that's their source of income.
Yep.
And the last thing you want to do when you have a source of income like that is to get it stolen, because that's, you know, they're stealing your income. Like
Yeah.
it's anyways. I don't want to start being really depressing, but
Yeah.
So, sir, first thing about this piece.
I'd like to mention that once again, Twilight is having someone else do the dirty work of establishing her prominence.
This is some hostility towards Twilight.
Do you have something against Twilight?
I-
Because we might have an issue here.
No. Nothing against Twilight, just, you know, it's obvious where the power lies.
Do you have something against dominance here? Because if so, we might have an issue.
Oh, nothing against that.
Hold up. I've gone back to that last one. Twilight's magic is pink, and so is the glow around the star, so she's helping Fluttershy in that last one.
Lawyered.
Yeah.
I'd still say Fluttershy's doing
But
it.
Well,
in this one-
Fluttershy's also helping Twilight, because, like, Fluttershy's pushing it with her nose. It's teamwork. They're working as a team. Friends.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, Twilight's learned from her example and has graduated to doing nothing.
That's fantastic.
Or did this one come first?
No, this one's after. This one
Yeah.
came
But-
this year.
I'm thinking like in chronological.
Yeah.
No, last one was last year,
Last one was last year.
and this
Oh,
one
was that
was
last
this
year.
year?
was
Okay,
this year,
I get
yeah.
it. I get it now. I like the fact that I like the fact that Angel's been delegated to his place in the set.
No, but he's so cute this time. It's so much
Aw.
better than last year's. It was just like, look at how adorable he is now.
It's really interesting how their style has come along or changed.
Mm-hmm.
Because like in the last one, it was, you know, very shaded, very like everything had this kind of pseudo 3D look to it. And in this one, it's a lot simpler, like more defined lines and a lot lighter feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can really see the difference in the hair.
Yeah.
Like I was saying
Like
about
Pinkie
value.
Pie's
Pinkie
is
Pie especially.
a
Pinkie
lot
Pie and
different.
Fluttershy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying about values, the entire
remember
like
that.
feel of the value is completely different. Where this feeling of value is definitely a lot brighter. But the other one I found interesting because it had those really bright highlights of value, but it still had an overall dark value. Where in this one, there's no like opposite dark value. The darkest portions of the piece are like the portion behind Applejack and the tree. There's no real like set off to a dark value. But I guess it's fine because it's a completely different time of night. You know, it seems like it's almost dawn and an
Evening.
evening in the first one, and like
Yeah.
sun's just going down, or it's a long winter night. And then in this one, you know, it's like they're prepping for
midday prepping for
Yeah.
Christmas. Yeah.
And this year, everybody is represented on the tree.
But the shift in value I found interesting, and then the kind of shift in style and lighting style, how she went around it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They do. This artist does the leaves not only in the wreaths above, but also in the tree itself. Just oh my goodness, looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
Can't imagine the amount of time that would take.
I love how they did the reflection of the light behind the tree, like all
Oh,
the
yeah.
different rainbow colored lights.
That comes straight from a reference from real life, and that is exactly what it would look like.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
That's definitely a
That's
really nice touch. And there's still no Rainbow Dash cutie mark on the tree, but
No, the rainbow.
Rainbow lights.
She answered that in the comments. The rainbow dash is the colored lights.
yeah, that's what I was gonna get to. It started
Oh my
coughing.
God.
She answered that in the
Wait.
comments.
Wait. Okay, I just seen something, and I don't think anybody else has noticed this.
Huh?
But I need to make this needs to be like a new QDR Crusaders thing. But every single time we see the word "soon," there needs to be there needs to be Winona's face. Because look at Winona
Yes.
to the right of Fluttershy. She's
Oh,
just
the little dog. Yeah, I noticed that. Because I was just saying, each one of their pets is in this, and it's like, fine, Winona.
soon.
Where is Winona?
That's
And the cat in the Christmas tree.
The cookies will be mine.
That's amazing. No, don't go to the other pets. Look at Winona. Look at how funny that is.
I really like Angel Bunny in this, though.
I don't know.
Gu-
I like Gummy.
Gummy's about to
Yeah,
eat
but
a.
we've already talked about Angel Bunny, and Angel Bunny can.
Angel Bunny should either be in that jar that Aloysius is on, or in the thing next to Apple.
Angel Bunny can eat a carrot.
Yeah, she can. She can go eat a carrot.
Wow. Okay. Whoa, sir, drag us out of this hole,
Sir, save us.
or not? Okay.
I really like Gummy
Yeah.
in this piece because
Yeah,
he's
he's
about to
adorable
eat
as
a cookie.
There needs to be
Oh,
more
there
Gummy
he
on
is.
the show. Gummy was awesome in the first season.
All right.
Oh, actually, one more thing.
Yes.
I'd like to point out that my brain is obviously wired to action movies because when I saw the flower in the bottom right corner, I thought it was flower self-destruct. Like that's what I filled in,
What?
but it's
Even though the first letter there is R.
yeah, it's actually flower self-rising or whatever.
Yeah.
Self-rising.
But yeah, I thought it was like flower self-destruct. I was like, what?
It's a nice hearthwarming eve now, but just wait until that flower goes off.
Oh,
All right.
man.
On that
There's
note.
a bomb in the cookies. Okay.
Okay, so we're done with the art. Move on to the questions.
Yeah,
Yep.
we do have some time for the questions. Don't read the first one. Read the second one.
Are you sure? Okay. Well, I have a question here. Could be a bit of time because there's 5 of us now. But anyway, question is, for each of you, how much of the appeal of a piece is its appearance versus its subject? Example, would you be more likely to look at a mediocre quality piece of something you really like, or a beautiful piece of something you're not really interested in? Our guest can go first.
Put you on the
I've
spot.
forgotten your name for a second.
It's Scissortix, isn't it?
Oh god,
That's
no.
what Scissortix
No.
It's not pronounced Scissortix. Sir Sirtix has the special quality about him that his name is spelt like the stupidest way possible.
No offense.
It's
spelt
the best way possible.
It's spelt Sir. I'm not even joking here. And you're gonna see it on the screen, but I'm gonna spell it anyways because I have to get it out of my system. It's CXYRTYX.
Yep. By the way, I wrote that
It-
from memory.
It makes sense to me. That's all that matters.
But you didn't even know how to pronounce it. I gave you that pronunciation.
Well, I just never said it, you know?
we were doing the first podcast, and we were saying like, so how do you pronounce your name? And you're like, I don't know, just call me Sir. And I was like, okay, can we call you like Sir Sirtix? And you're like, that's genius.
Brilliant. Brilliant, young man.
See,
And-
when I make an online name, I wasn't expecting to ever say it out loud.
Did you just like punch your face into the keyboard?
No. See, back in I think calculus senior year, we there was this could be helped by a diagram, but I don't want to put that on you, Burn. Like, did you ever learn SOHCAHTOA for sine,
Yes.
cosine, and
Yeah,
tangent?
Geometry. Yum.
Haven't gotten there yet.
Our teacher had something where there was X, Y, and R instead.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. What if I swap those in? And so I did that. And I was like, oh, cool, let's make a good username. So I changed SYR to Sir. And then I think I added an extra random letter in there somewhere because I made a mistake. And that's kind of how I got
Oh,
the
so
username.
it's like Sir Krakatoa or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I get where you're coming from, but how you got from point A to point B.
The first Y shouldn't be there if it were to make sense.
Right.
But I kind of made the initial typo, and I just been using it.
Well, anyway.
So, sir, do you remember the question? Because we kind of went off on a tangent.
Yeah, I remember the question. I guess ideally I would like to say that the subject doesn't matter, but yeah, that's not the truth. I mean, I've looked at, I'll be honest, and I spend almost all my time on DA looking at pony stuff. And occasionally I'll look down at the daily deviation, and there'll be something really cool. But I'm definitely a lot more likely to like it if it has ponies in it. Or something else that I like, But
right.
So to answer if I'd look at a mediocre quality piece or a beautiful piece of something I wasn't interested in, I'd have to say it's probably more likely I'd look at the mediocre quality piece of something I really liked.
Yeah, it's funny because we're a pony show, so I immediately jumped to, without a doubt, everything we're talking about is ponies. That's a good point. I didn't even think about it because I was going to say, okay, my answer would be it's a combination of both, because I can appreciate something that's not, it's like if it's a character that I don't really I'm not a huge fan of, but if it's done really well, then I can appreciate that. But I think I'm more I can appreciate mediocre pieces more. Not mediocre sounds like such a bad word.
Yeah.
Amateur. I can appreciate amateur pieces more when it's like Rainbow Dash, for example. So I mean, it's a combination of both. But then I didn't even think about the fact that there were other art pieces beside ponies. So yeah, I am 100% biased because to be honest, I don't really care about other pieces of art. I can appreciate them, but I'm not going to go search them out. So yeah,
pony art exists.
I'm 100% biased towards ponies. Specifically Rainbow Dash. That's my answer.
I would say I'm probably 70-80% biased, but towards ponies. I can look at and enjoy art of stuff that I'm not particularly interested in. I'm gonna get lynched for saying this probably, but Pokemon, not really interested because I was never really into it.
Why are you getting lynched?
But I do see some, not really by choice because it gets forced upon me sometimes, but amazing Pokemon art, which I've recently been told that Joltik is my favourite Pokemon. I've been told that, I didn't choose that. But
Good choice.
yes, if you're in the chat, you'll know why. Thank you, Silver. I'm not complaining or anything, but just saying.
Let's change. Can I change the question a little bit? Because every single one of us is going to be biased towards ponies.
I actually have a way I'd like to change the question.
Okay, Bernd, how would you like to change the question?
Do it.
Well, it is speaking from how it's based as a general question to talk about subject matter like ponies or whatever. Obviously, I'm going to be biased towards something I have such a large what's the right term I'm looking for, but passion for. I love ponies. Everyone loves ponies, so you're obviously going to have a tendency to like pony art more than other forms of art. But I mean, this is something I've been looking at a lot recently. If there's a really beautiful art piece, I don't enjoy it as much as something that I'm so passionate about as ponies. So if I see something done by a really, really talented artist and I'll look at it, it just doesn't speak to me as much as something to where I don't have an emotional connection on the background of it. So I think that's why it speaks so much to us. But I'd like to change this question to more, let's talk about, let's say it's just art based around ponies or art that we enjoy. We're looking at art in general, regardless of subject matter. If let's say there's a piece and it's pretty, it's made inherently beautiful. What's talking about? All right, I'm having a hard time wording this, but as I've been looking at art, I've been trying to enjoy it more for the subject of what's in said art piece. So art that is what's the right word I'm looking for?
Done technically well.
Art that expresses emotion or art that expresses some kind of subject or story. So looking at painting and traditional art, if you look at a painting and look at how it's made, there's a lot more than what digital art can create or give to you when you look at it. So something that I've been coming across recently is I really, really enjoy art that speaks to me more on a subject level or an impressionist level, if I'm using that word right, or or art that speaks more to your emotion, or art that has some kind of higher quality to it rather than that it's just a pretty image. So like a piece we featured a little while ago, I forget the name of it, but it was a cross-hatched black and white piece with red accents to the roses of Spike flying away from a grave of the main six. Like the
We definitely
imagery
did
and the
feature that.
subject of that picture, like spoke to me a lot more than say a few pretty pictures of ponies.
Yeah.
So
Was that in the episode I missed? Was that in the
Yeah.
one episode this last
Yeah,
half
that
of this
was.
I missed?
Yep.
Of course it is.
So I would like to change this question and ask you guys, like, do you guys like art that is just inherently pretty or inherently cute and has pretty features, or do you like art that has more to its subject, more like depth, more dynamic, like that we've been trying to really, really get in depth to on our show?
Well, I
start.
think Pinky Dash should go first because he got interrupted.
Yeah,
so.
because I already started talking.
Yeah.
And you interrupted me anyway. I go both ways on this subject. Yep, PG show. I like like you said, the cute, pretty stuff. I do like some of those. Like, I can just look at pretty, cute little ponies because they're adorable and I love them. But I also do like the stuff that goes sort of has meaning behind it, goes a bit more in depth than just a pretty picture. For example, the vector that I'm making at the moment has more in it than it's just a pretty picture, because it's not really a pretty picture. It's the same thing with me with music. Like, I like stuff that has sort of meaning behind it. That's not just, wow, here it is, done, enjoy. It's stuff that has it makes you feel things. I like that.
You like
Yeah.
the feels.
I do like the
Feels.
feels.
I do like the feels.
Yeah.
All the
Who's
feels.
what's the artist? Like, I'm having just like Zymo 5. So like a lot of
Yeah.
Zymo 5 art has a lot of depth to it, has a lot of story behind it, like the first elements of harmony and things like that, where there's like so much more to the image. And I find that
It's like a story behind it.
what's the right word? I'm finding that I enjoy things like that more than something that is simple
something
and cute.
I just want to kind of say something about that. I just to expand on my answer, I like the stuff that explains everything in the image. Like, you don't have to put a backstory to the image to know what it's about.
That's
Mhm.
fair.
So with Zymo 5 stuff, you do need that backstory to explain what the picture is. Whereas a lot of stuff, like the stuff that I really, really enjoy, you can get everything from the image.
Interesting.
I like the concept that if I look at something and enjoy it, if I find out more about it, then I can enjoy it even more. Like something when we were talking about, I believe you were here for this, maybe you weren't, but the Margaret Wall Roma, how she first painted a depiction of Christ and then repainted over it, and like it was a beautiful painting, but then you realize the subject matter that was underneath what you painted on top of, it creates so much more meaning to what you're looking at.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Mm-hmm. So, Flutter Guy, you're the only one who hasn't answered. You haven't answered this jumble of questions.
I know. I'm going to start with
So-
the first one and then work my way to Burns. So, in terms of appearance versus subject, I have to say I'm very split on that. Because obviously, like, if it's ponies, I'm going to like it more. But I do like just good art in general, especially when it's done really well. I'm not going to, search DA for anything besides ponies, but if I stumble across something that is done really well, then, it still appeals to me. And in terms of what Bern was saying, I definitely do have an appreciation for pieces that like have this kind of story behind it, or have like a really well done, in-depth kind of style to it. But then again, there's also like stuff like Specky SY, which is just so adorable. And
He's an example.
actually, Pinky Dash, you brought up music, which is actually kind of a good analogy, because I like, kind of poppy stuff for just listening to it, but then I will also listen to more like deep music kind of stuff, which is kind of the same thing. So yeah.
Well, I think listening to all of you talk about something, I wanted to bring something up which was interesting, because I think I'm not sure if I'm the majority here, but I'd like to learn more about different people like myself here, because when it comes to me and art, I'm not, ponies kind of motivated me to start being artistic. I'd never even thought about it before, but something about the show and just getting involved made me want to get more artistic. And that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people use MLP as a springboard, and I think that's really awesome. And I think the fact that the show can bring that out of everyone is awesome. But there's something else, because a lot of artists don't want to limit themselves to MLP, and I think that's fine. But personally, I think my artistic streak kind of begins and ends with MLP, and I think I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
So I have a hard time. I'm a guy who's very motivated by passions, and it I find it harder to look for the details to appreciate a piece when it doesn't have something I'm passionate about. I can kind of see what people are talking about, but I can go so much more in depth, and I can
Well,
really look
that's
into a piece when it's ponies.
that's the most important driving factor behind art is passion. Art is an outlet for passion. So like that's why there's so much art for ponies, because people are so passionate for this. Like
But I mean,
that's the first reason why people created art even in the first place, is they were passionate about something and passionate about just visual regardless.
no,
I
for
don't know.
sure. For sure, but I think it's important to look at yourself and go, why am I doing this? And it's not a bad thing that you might just be doing this because you like the show, and it's something you can explore with because of the show. Some people are naturally artistic and they used MLP as a subject, and that's great. But some people, and I think I fall into this category, um, completely use MLP as the artistic thing. And I don't really have any motivation once the show ends to, maybe I will a little bit now that I've explored, but I don't really have that motivation to go past it. So I think I'm 100% biased towards ponies, because it's the only kind of art I really appreciate, because it has to do with something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just wanted to throw that last little thought in there, a little discussion piece. But
Yeah.
as Pinky Dash of all people is typing in that we need to wrap up. What?
What? Wait.
So when Pinky Dash says we're wrapping up,
Actually,
I mean,
hold
it's
on.
not the end of
hold
the
on.
world. It's not the
Well-
end of the world, because if Burns say we need to wrap up, then holy cow. But we do need to
Burn
wrap
do you
up.
wrap up? Burn do you wrap up?
hold on. Can I just say something about that last point that you brought up?
Yes.
Okay. I think that like Pony has a ton of fans, and because of that, and because of the show's simplistic style, it does serve as like this springboard for artists. And I think that that's why we've seen so many awesome artists come out of the MLP fandom. And like I've personally have tried going into other subject matters, but it's not nearly as popular as ponies, obviously.
And also, it's just not the same.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not the same. No.
Well, like I was saying earlier, like art is an outlet for passion. Like there's a lot of things that are the same way. Like music is an outlet for passion, just some kind of expression greater than words.
I'm
Mhm.
just saying, if you're sitting there and you're going, oh man, I should really move on past ponies and get in general. I mean, I just
Do it. Do it.
should is such a powerful word, and it's I don't know.
Do it.
It just seems to me like if you're sitting there and you're going, oh, I should do this or should do that. No, you shouldn't. You should, if your journey with art begins and ends with this TV show, that doesn't mean that you're a bad artist, and it doesn't mean that anything,
Yeah.
just enjoy the time that you have, enjoy the subjects that you're doing at the moment, and it doesn't need to do anything like that. I don't know.
To
I
be-
don't want to go into like a 20-minute discussion. I
No,
just want
like,
to put that point
I
out there.
I agree. I definitely agree with that point. But I mean, I started out as just kind of having maybe a minor interest in art, but probably no greater interest in like seeking it. Like I by all means didn't even consider it like a minor, like in college or something. But I mean, ponies made me interested in like artistic expression, and then I took an art class, and ponies was kind of the driving force behind that to make content for that art class, and is why I like enjoyed it so much. So again, like you said, ponies was the springboard for me to pursue maybe taking a minor in college or something in art or finer arts. So
Yeah.
like,
To-
I don't know. I think
To be re-
I think if I can say
It's
something
all
about
preference.
the passion bit,
Mm.
that like at least my enjoyment, maybe other people's enjoyment too, of a piece is a combination of like the artist's passion and skill and my own passion.
Mhm.
And if there's like, if any of that's missing, it doesn't work out as much.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that definitely makes sense. What I've been trying to do recently is kind of step out of that kind of like shell of passion or personal passion or things that you enjoy. Because like there's a lot of inherently ugly art that I don't understand, like Picasso, just to throw one out, or some kind of art where you look at it and you're like, this looks like crap. But and like you don't understand why some people would think it's inherently beautiful or beautiful for them, but they put so much passion and heart into it. So I've been trying to look at art and look at why is this inherently beautiful in someone's eyes. I mean, I mean, this maybe getting a little deeper than some people want, especially when we're so used to looking at ponies. But I like looking at other forms of art, even expressions of ponies, and trying to find something inherently beautiful in it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I wasn't trying to say it's bad if you use MLP as a
Oh, no, I
springboard
wasn't
and then
trying
look
to
at
say
other pieces of art. And again, I didn't want this to be a 15-minute discussion.
I think that's why it's amazing, is because it is.
No, shut up. I'm not leaving.
Plug time.
Every time Burn talks, it's a 15-minute discussion.
no.
Right, on to the plugs.
Even if I know he's sick and he's still taking up
I do my
majority of the
best.
podcast.
He's still the
here,
rambling man.
but, we're gonna have to put you in the
That's a good song, by
cave.
the way. Rambling Man.
Okay, so we're gonna have to close out here. We're gonna do some plugs first, and then get on with everything else. So, did anybody else listen last week?
Yes, you did it very, very quickly.
Right. So, Flutter Guy, do you want to attempt to do it in that same kind of speed?
Okay. We have a Gmail account, which is qtrcrusaders@gmail.com. There you can send us any art or questions that you have. We also have a fan art episode coming up.
I'll deal with that in a second.
Click.
Come on, but it's so intertwined with the email.
Keep going.
Okay. We have a Deviant.
Now who's make it last longer?
We have a DeviantArt account, which is qtrcrusaders.deviantart.com. There you can find all of the art that we feature on the show and some art that we don't have time for in our favorites. You can also find our avatars and other things like that. We have a Twitter, which is @QTArtCrusade, where you can find up-to-the-minute information, like if the stream is having technical issues or anything like that. And we also have a Facebook page, which is Cutie Art Crusaders. And yeah, so you can follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook, and you'll get information on the streams.
Cool.
Yep.
So, as you mentioned, our next episode, holy cow, it's been 2 months already since we announced this.
I know.
And it's like creeping up on us. But our next episode is not only the New Year's one, but as we mentioned, the New Year's podcast is our fan art podcast. You guys have been sending in fan art of us for 2 months now, and
Which is amazing.
holy cow,
So
we've gotten
amazing.
great, and we are so excited. This is gonna be like the best podcast.
We can't even
next
express how awesome it is. Like,
week. It's
Yeah.
gonna be
I
super
really don't
fun.
know how you're gonna fit it all in.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna have to go pretty quick next week, or maybe a longer podcast. Who knows? Up to burned. But yeah. So our cutoff was really today. When you're listening to this, December 25th, that was our cutoff. I'm gonna say right now, you have like maybe a day longer. So if you're just finishing up a piece, or you're just doing something, like get it out fast if you want it on the show, because this is the cutoff date today. So get it out as fast as you can. But yeah, if you have any more, send them into our email. But we've got a lot, and they're all pretty awesome. So I'm hoping that we can get through them in the episode and give them each the love that they deserve. But be sure to join us next week on New Year's if you can, because it's going to be super fun. And who does stuff on New Year's? Who does stuff on New Year's like Eve? But who actually does stuff on New Year's? Like, come
We're
on.
just gonna be in the
Who
stream.
parties?
And,
Yeah, come on, come and hang with us on the stream. It'll be fun.
yeah, we'll have
why
Also,
party and
if
be
you're watching
social
this in
when
the
there's
stream,
ponies?
that's really awesome of you to watch us in the stream on Christmas, because I know a lot of people have Christmas and bam, all that different stuff. But yeah, it's really awesome for you to come out for the stream. We know it's a weird timing, because we happen to just catch where we're airing on Christmas and airing on New Year's, so it's weird, but it's awesome for you guys to come out, and it's awesome for you guys to come out every single week. And we've been doing this for half a year, and it's gone a lot better than we thought it would, and you guys are all pretty awesome, and we get to finally give you guys a little bit more credit next episode.
Yeah.
So that's everything this week. We hope that you guys all have Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all of the holidays, whatever you celebrate. It doesn't matter. We're not trying to offend
Joyous
anyone.
Kwanzaa, I guess. I don't know. Is that a
yes.
We're not trying to. By the way, we weren't trying to offend anyone by just including "quote unquote" Christmas stuff this episode. Most of us celebrate Christmas, and so that's what we could find. Honestly, like in about 3 days, by the time you watch this, there's going to be a ton of Christmas stuff out. But because we had to record it on the Friday before, there wasn't like a huge amount. So there's still great stuff that we showed today, but we didn't.
The other holidays.
We didn't have a plethora of like the other holidays.
It's a good word.
So it's too bad, but we do what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and on that note, before Rainbow Plasma or Burned rambles anymore,
Oh, damn it.
I'm sorry, Burned. I know you're sick, but let's wrap this up.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, whether or not it was on the stream or on YouTube. We love you all the same. We hope everyone has a magical and safe holidays. Happy holidays from all
Do we
of
have
the
a
CAC.
spoiler cast after this?
Yeah, we are actually going to have a spoiler cast. So if you want to stick around
Hey,
for another like 20 minutes or so, we're going to have a spoiler cast in the latest episode. So stick
Yeah.
around for that.
I'm gonna go watch the last episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. And my name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Burned01.
I'm Flutterguy317.
I'm Pinky Dash.
I'm Sir Certix.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
And we love you.
Hello and welcome to the 6th spoiler cast for the Cutie Crusaders for episode... Oh my god, I'm blanking. Eight.
Family reunion.
Apple Family Reunion.
Your name is.
My name is Flutterguy317, and I am so spaced out right now. Sorry about that.
Sorry guys. This is the Saturday after we recorded, and I don't know. Just tonight we're like super tired. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
tired and
apologize if
sick.
this is.
Like on
Yeah,
top
Burn's
of
still
being
sick.
sick.
Burn's
I am
sick.
super tired.
Burned is transmitting his disease through the internet.
It's
Yep.
also super late. I think
It's
we
a
just
virus.
we kept procrastinating making this spoiler cast.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm in the middle of Arizona, not on my computer, so like I had to reinstall Sony Vegas, and like, that was just a fiasco.
Yeah.
A bunch of things going on. So we're gonna have a nice sit down chat. This is airing on the 25th. So grab your cocoa, sit down in front of a fireplace, and listen
Cocoa
to
would
us.
be
Just...
delicious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. Okay, so Apple Family Reunion.
Yeah.
Who wants to start us off here?
I'll start us off. Basically the episode was surrounding the Apple family and their reunion.
Oh, you know what? Screw the episode recap. People have seen the episode.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
haven't seen the episode, then go watch the episode.
What? Why don't you start, Rainbow Plasma?
No, I just meant don't do the episode recap because like I feel like we only have a certain amount of time to do this. I don't want to go over like 20 minutes for these things.
Okay.
So I don't want to waste time for that.
All right, so opinions then. Burned, why don't
Go
you
first.
start?
Alright, fine. My opinion was I liked it. I thought again, I have enjoyed the whole season so far. I haven't been really nitpicky. There wasn't anything I was too nitpicky about in this episode. I mean, it seemed to flow alright. There wasn't anything I was like continuity. Like the biggest thing that made me happy was the constant continuity. Like last episode, I kept getting bothered by the fact that there had to be a recolored Sibsy. And I mean this is a little bit of stupid Brody anger about that it wasn't Wildfire, that she wasn't Wildfire. But in this episode, like there wasn't anything that bugged me. There was still all the cute things they've been doing for bronies. There was a lot of continuity, all the old ponies we've seen in old episodes in the old seasons. And then I think the episode was decent and the message was decent. There wasn't really anything that stood out and bugged me, And I mean it had another song, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean the Babseed thing was huge.
Yes.
I think that's one of the biggest continuity things that the show's ever done.
Like, it only took, 2 episodes to bring Babseed back in?
No, it wasn't 2. It
One
was
3,
4.
3?
4 episodes.
4,
Yeah.
I think.
What was really
I
interesting
think it was either 3 or 4.
Yeah, she was talking about the whole Cutie Crusader or Cutie Mark Crusaders chapter in Manhattan, which was kind of cool too. Because in the previous episode, she was like gonna start it up and.
Yeah, no, that was great continuity when they were actually trying to make small talk, because that was the concept, they couldn't make small talk.
Yeah.
So just that little bit, like, there's 2 other people who don't have cutie marks, and you're starting up the Cutie Crusaders.
I do that. Okay, you both have done this, and I do this all the time. I can no longer say Cutie Mark Crusaders.
I know.
I can't do it because every single time I say Cutie Art Crusaders.
Did I say that or something?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you said Cutie
Oh,
Art,
God,
and so did Fluttergun.
Blame it on my cold. There was an M there. You just didn't hear it.
Cutie Mart.
Cutie Mart Crusaders.
Yeah, so there's something interesting about this episode, and I have a feeling the last few episodes have been kind of not unanimously, but like the majority have been like, yep, they're generally good. And I think there was a little bit more of a meh feel about this episode, and I can kind of get that because my initial thoughts were there wasn't anything that stood out. There wasn't anything bad about the episode, far from it, but there wasn't anything spectacular about it. But there's one thing that I want to point out here, which was it's the same reason why people don't like Applejack as a character. And it's not that they don't like them, but it's like I said, like meh. So people think Applejack is a meh character, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's all about subtlety. That's what the character's about, and that's what this episode was about. Is about the subtle things that if you take the time to look at them, you will appreciate them. Applejack is looked at as the character that's kind of straight-laced. She's hardworking. She gets the job done. She's kind of like a big sister to Applebloom. She's very straight-edged. Not a lot of comedy relief, that kind of thing. And so a lot of people look at that and they go, oh, okay, well, that character's there and I enjoy the character, but I don't think it's my favorite. And I think what a lot of people miss is the times when she's not like that character. And we were mentioning this during the episode because we're all kind of fans of Applejack. Flutterguy's favorite character, my second favorite character, that kind of thing. But it was just generally like she makes like the cutest little faces, but you never notice it, and whenever she does it, it's got such more of an impact because of her character. I don't know how to describe it, but like I don't know, like when Pinkie Pie makes a funny face, it's like it's Pinkie Pie.
There's a lot of that.
Definitely.
Like, there was another episode. I forget what episode it was, but she was nervous, so she was like prancing in place, and it was like she was nervous on waiting for something, and someone made a gif of it of her like nervously like prancing, and just like little things that she does, and then like the whole ear twitch and stuff, and the third episode of the first season.
Yeah, just like little things. Like I think Applejack is like it's a character to appreciate if you appreciate subtlety. Same with Rarity. Rarity's kind of like that as well.
Like the polar opposite, where it's like complete non-subtle as Rainbow Dash.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
that's probably the reason why Rainbow Dash is one of the favorites. Like it's kind of known that Rainbow Dash is kind of like the most popular by a little bit, by like a very small margin. But I think that's
Another point I wanted to make, taking a little bit more broad, when you mentioned how this episode is kind of just meh, it is kind of just meh, and it's kind of like nothing super spectacular happens. Like in the last episode, I mean, Wonderbolt's Academy is pretty spectacular. Like the Rainboom episode, like whole Rainboom saving them, that's spectacular. Like Babseed showing up, I guess you call that spectacular. Trixie making a return, like friggin' spectacular. And this one, it was more of a based, just basic storyline, and it was nice. It was nice to kind of have that, but there was still so much, like you said, subtlety, and there's so much depth to the episode. Like what we haven't mentioned yet, the 2 shooting stars.
Yeah,
like I cannot
we'll
get over that.
We'll get there.
About how amazing that is to put that in the episode. Because I mean,
that's a perfect example.
I think this episode, and there's been a couple of episodes like this in the past seasons where it's not like this whole spectacle, like extravaganza kind of episode, but it's more in the little details of the episode.
Because I mean, I'm still trying to get over that, but I guess to describe to anyone who's watching who didn't get it, or I mean, if you just haven't been like browsing on different sites or whatever, if you're watching the episode, you'll notice that in the beginning, when Applejack or when Granny Smith mentions the whole family's going to be there, Applejack looks at the screen and then looks into the sky, and 2 shooting stars shoot across. And at the very end of the episode, when they're all done looking at the photo book, right before the credits roll, 2 shooting stars go across again when they mention their family. And I believe you said that Sibsy stated that those 2 stars represent her mother
basically
and
the way it
father
worked was
non-existent.
those 2 stars were supposed to represent like Applejack's parents.
Yeah.
And this has been something that a lot of people have debated about, and Lauren Faust came out like 2 years ago and said, I don't really know, because originally we didn't figure it out. They just weren't there.
Yeah.
And we didn't know and she said, it's up to whoever decides in the future what'll happen to them. And so people made this observation, which is a very smart observation, that those 2 shooting stars appeared in those 2 very significant points. And So people are like, yes, you might be overanalyzing, whatever. And then somebody went to, I think Sibsy,
Yeah.
who had, I think Sibsy had quite a hand in this episode,
Yeah.
and she said, yep, it is a subtle nod to the parents.
Yeah, like, even without Sibsy's reassurance, like, it's blatantly, that's what it is. I mean, Granny Smith
Yeah.
straight up says, like,
yeah.
like, everyone in the whole entire Apple family is going to be there, and Applejack, like, looks at the screen surprised, and then looks up at
Can
the
you-
sky, and...
Can you say that with your
Like,
accent?
No.
There's a line actually that they say. It's just like, it was just like, everyone's gonna be there, and when are we gonna get another chance? Some people might not. There's like something along the lines of like, some people might not make the next reunion,
Yeah,
I
and
get
then the shooting
chance.
stars happen. So
And
it's. I just want to kind of wrap this all together just for a second, because it's a very long thread to kind of wrap it all together. But what we're saying here is that this episode is worth taking a second or third look at if you looked at it first and went, because there are so many little things about it that, not little things as in, take a magnifying glass to it and search each character,
Mm.
but little things as in, just think a little bit during the episode, and it's exactly like Applejack as a character, and
Yeah.
I think that's really amazing.
Like, there was plenty of continuity tying the episode together, and tying in old episodes, and then, like, there was that, which I think by far is one of the best subtle hints to, like, background, character, story. I'm not sure the correct term for that.
Well, people
But
don't
just
like
the
the Apple family
background
because
to a
it's
character,
it's not continuous. A lot of the Apple family is not continuous.
But, like, there's not a lot of information-wise into, like, past history and, like, what's happened in the past, what caused what, why Nightmare, like, whatever. And, like, or past histories to characters. I mean, the Rainboom episode was, like, or, like, how, or what was it? The one where each character is, like, tied together to the Rainboom?
Yeah.
Like, what, that's called the, what, I forget the name
No,
of
it's
it.
called the Cutie Mark Chronicles.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That episode was, like, one of the hugest episodes for continuity of each character's past. And I'm probably not using the word right, but anyway. And, like, this episode was, like, a huge nod to that for the Apple family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Which
how
I always love getting
makes
little
it great, I
tidbits
think.
about their past,
Yeah.
for sure.
I like how they kind of keep things ambiguous in terms of like previous plot lines and stuff like that. But they do always make these subtle nods to past episodes or things that have been mentioned in past episodes. So the continuity is there.
Yeah, no, it's great to, like, keep developing a character, because, like, that's some of the fans' favorite thing is when you, like, develop a character, what happened in the past, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and I think this was I couldn't think of a possible way that they could have addressed Applejack's parents in the show without like making it non-kids show, and that's exactly the opposite of what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep its original feel. I wanted to keep its kids show kind of thing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But this I never would have thought of that, and that's
like,
perfect.
you definitely have to be at kind of a mature age to look at that and, like, realize, like, oh my gosh, this means this. But I mean, like, if you're younger, like, and the younger writer's enjoying this for what it is, like, you definitely wouldn't catch it.
Yeah.
Mhm. So enough about subtleties. Let's talk about what we liked about the episode.
That song.
I think a lot of people very similarly looked at that song at first and said they don't like it.
Yeah.
And I can kind of get that because it's musical taste. It's a country song. It's a square dance song, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot simpler. It's a lot different from the other songs. But
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it.
I loved, and you mentioned this before we started recording, is Applejack's faces during the song. It's like her expressions are fantastic.
Yeah, it's just like the second she started singing, she got like really, really adorable for some reason.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I personally enjoyed the song. I know it's different from the other songs that we've heard throughout the seasons, but it's nice to finally have Applejack get a
They've
song.
been doing that though. They've been doing that a lot. Like
yeah,
with the Bab Seed song was completely different. They've got such a huge variety of music, and each time they do it, it's still a good piece of music.
yeah,
Which says a lot to do about the people behind all the music. Not only people give Daniel Ingram a lot of love, and he deserves a lot of love.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
everyone who's involved in the process.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, definitely.
Well, let's see. I guess since technically we are majority part of an art show, I've been trying to look at the episodes kind of like artistically, compositionally, but mainly I've just been enjoying them and watching them, so I haven't been really looking at it as much as I should. Or I've been wanting to. But I think in all the episodes so far, there's just been great cinematography and different scenes. And I think in this one, they did the same thing. I really enjoyed, the snapshots and how the transitions in this one were great. Like, one of my favorites, which, I mean, is relatively simple, but put into Flash animation, I thought it was pretty beautiful, was when they were talking about Granny Smith flashback to the apple fritters being made in the beginning, and then it had baby Applejack under the table, and then she's like, my name's Applejack, or whatever, like, do you have more apple fritters? And then the guy, whoever that was, part of the Apple family, smiled, and then it flashed back to old school photo, and then panned back out from the photo book. Like, I thought that was pretty great. And there's a lot of those, like, history flashback transition going back and forth. That was pretty good, and I definitely enjoyed that because it flowed really well throughout the entire episode. Just like how
can we just talk about baby Applejack?
Oh, yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
Like, it's what? You know what? I don't think anyone in the entire world was expecting that.
Yeah.
It just I mean, I guess I could kind of see how that would happen, or I could kind of see how you expect that, but I was just like, what?
Yeah, no, that was definitely great.
I mean,
that's the first baby character we've seen besides when the like fake baby characters in this episode. And then let's see, were there other episodes?
Pound Cake,
Cake Twins.
There's been a couple.
Yeah.
There's been a couple, but like not like. Oh, and in the
no, I mean straight
Duel?
up main character.
In Magic Duel they changed.
Yeah, in Magic Duel, it was like fake main characters as babies, and then.
But they weren't babies. They were fillies.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Can I just say, this is a personal preference, but I think a lot of people share this. The fillies are still cuter than the babies.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, when Applejack was when quote unquote turned into a little filly in the Magic episode, he was just like, "Aww."
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's adorable.
Yeah.
He's so cute. Ridiculous.
No, well, like one of the things that we've mentioned before, even artistically, is one of the biggest things to make something cute is the size of the eyes. You see that in like Asian culture. You see that in any kind of culture where it's like big, huge eyes. I mean, that's why ponies are so adorable. And on fillies, they're like twice the size, proportion to their head, what normal characters are. And then when you get to alicorns, they're like the smallest because they're supposed to look the most mature. But I mean, so like the babies, they have like the small beady eyes. But I mean, even real life babies kind of have that small beady eye thing. And we were just talking about before we recorded this about how, you always think your own baby is adorable, but like you think someone else's baby is creepy. So for the first time, like since I have a connection to Applejack and I saw baby Applejack, I was like, all right, that's pretty adorable. And when she like said her name,
that's weird.
It's like, you're not old enough to talk. What are you doing?
I had the exact same reaction. Like when I saw Pound Cake and Pumpkin Cake or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
I didn't have a connection to them at all. I was just like, they look weird. They're kind of funny because the way they react in the episode, but they were still like, they're. But yeah, like not only the personal connection that you have with the characters there, but also when they had the character look underneath the desk and then look at the baby and go, oh, that's cute, and then does that little smile.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it gives that really like huge connection between those characters. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but they did a really good job there. See, this is what I mean, subtle things.
Yeah.
And like
all of this
him
is so
smiling
subtle.
at Applejack was cuter than Applejack, I thought.
Right, yeah, and just like the connection there was it was like that family connection there.
Yeah.
I definitely think the show's great at doing those cute little things. I mean, it's so surprising these stupid ponies keep tugging at my friggin' heartstrings.
Yeah, well, it is magic.
Yeah, right? But yeah, like you were saying, Applejack had great faces, and everyone had a lot of great faces in this episode.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dynamic in faces, because, before in, like, the first season, it was all mainly, you'd never see someone at, like, different shots or angles. And now, like, when Applejack is singing, when other ponies are doing things, and then, like, the snapshots at the end, where they had the different expressions, like, you said your favorite was Applejack and Brayburn.
Yeah, like, Applejack and Brayburn, where Brayburn's holding the hammer in his mouth, and Applejack's super cute there.
She has her eyes closed. And then the bucket faces, or the bucket helmets with the nails in the mouth. And the two Cutie Crusaders. Like, that was great.
Yeah, they've definitely come a very long way in terms of animation quality.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it's just that like they've gotten more resources by building up their toolbox over the past 2 years, but
it's probably both. I mean, experience, toolbox,
taking risks.
You name it.
Yeah, that too.
Making more custom stuff.
And I mean, now that they only made 13 episodes, we had a bit more time to put into it, maybe. That's just guessing.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
hope, really.
complicated because we don't know behind the scenes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think oh, actually, I did want to say one thing. I normally, because during the spoiler cast we don't edit anything in, like we don't edit the spoiler cast,
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
than like the audio. So you
We
guys,
just throw it on.
obviously, if we mention a visual thing, it kind of sucks, but like it would take way too much time. So you guys can go back and watch the episode. But there's one thing I do want to point out to people, and I want you to go back and look at this. But during the song, at one point, Applejack's holding a plate of apple fritters, and
Mhm.
she's like bouncing along to the music.
Oh, really? This?
You have to go and look at this.
It is adorable.
I don't care because Bern, you're like, I don't know what the big deal is,
She's just bobbing her head.
but I don't even know.
I
Just
don't know.
go look at it.
Yeah.
Just put it on loop.
Different cute things speak to different people.
So yeah, I just wanted to. I think the big summary with this one, this extremely tired spoiler cast on top of this episode. I think that's all right though, because the episode wasn't, and I'm not saying it's bad, but the episode wasn't spectacular.
Mhm.
But
And
like
so-
I was saying earlier, I think it's nice to have that. Really,
Mhm. It's
like I
kinda
was saying
a
earlier,
calm,
hold on,
relaxing
hold on.
episode,
Yeah.
a calm, relaxing spoiler cast. Go together well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to bring up that maybe consider a little bit, go back, look at the subtleties of the episode, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, I know, like, when I first watched the episode this morning, or which would be, past Saturday morning.
Saturday morning, yeah.
Yeah. It didn't really appeal to me that much, but when we watched it, because we always watch the episode right before the spoiler cast,
Mhm.
when I watched it again, it was, there were a lot of things that you don't pick up on the first time.
Yeah, the second time around is a lot better. I would never want to. I mean, Bernd, I know Bernd just watched the episode for the first time before we recorded this,
Yeah.
but I don't really like to like watch it one time and then do it because there's so many it's so different after the second time.
Mhm.
And I would encourage people to go back and watch the episode again, and pick up on some of these things that we were talking about and see how you like it. If you
Like-
don't like it, then I get it.
Well,
It was
first time-
kind of slow, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first time you're watching it, you're kind of just watching it for the story and enjoying it. But like the second time, I try to like look at the little things, look at the ponies in the background. Like one of the things was I rewatched it at the beginning so I could go in when she was flipping through the photo book the first time to see if they had a picture of Applejack's parents, or at least as kids or something. But they didn't.
which I didn't.
They just
Yeah,
had
they
young.
didn't.
They had baby Granny Smith or Philly Granny Smith, and then they went to young Granny Smith, which they showed in the flashbacks with her aunts, sisters, whatever. And then they went straight to old Applejack. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
skipped a whole beating. Like there was no family reunion
like
right
a page
there.
stuck together or
Like they
something.
just skipped a whole chunk. Yeah. It would have
Generation
been.
gap.
It would have thrown me through a loop if there was like a ripped page and she like flipped it. That would have
Oh
thrown.
That
no! Don't
would've-
start the fan.
That would have thrown some fan
No.
into the loop, right?
No, this is
Yeah.
supposed to wrap it up and tell us the actual. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there was
Oh, man.
something that they couldn't
Ponies are
have the
freaking out.
reunion
The world's ending.
that year.
That's probably why
What?
it was too tragic, so they couldn't have a reunion.
Yeah, or yeah.
Jeez. Oh my goodness.
We're-
This is
we're-
no,
we're
no,
getting-
no.
we're getting too
Depressing turn,
depressed
depressing turn.
now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well I'm gonna end this before we get too depressed
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we all
Fun- fun,
we all sound
happy-
tired and you
Fun
know what?
happy song.
I just want to
Yeah. And on a
yes,
high note.
exactly. Happy song, happy ending. You know,
Yeah.
we're all tired here. I'm sure you guys have had holidays are always quite tiring. So I hope you guys are having good holidays, sitting back, relaxing, listening to our soothing, tired voices.
Yeah.
By the way, thank
And,
you guys
yeah.
again for coming out to the live stream if you could make it this week on Christmas, because, we know it's
Yeah,
family time.
that's
but
awesome.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. All right. So thank you guys for listening. This is like our longest episode ever, but we hope you guys enjoyed. And whether or not you're listening on the live stream on YouTube,
Yep.
that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Bye, guys.
usually when you make something that's like popular, it's like it explodes and you get like however many favorites, and then it just like dies down immediately. But with this one, it's like just been like slowly trickling in like the same amount each like during the week. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe the difference between making something like popular versus making something like really good. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's
I just wanted
pretty
to. I don't want to spend.
While we're
like
on the subject, I'm also in the middle of making something. I'm just about to upload now, so you should.
Yeah,
be
maybe.
able to
Yeah,
see
maybe we
those
can.
after you see this.
Maybe we can actually mention that next week when you have that like all uploaded and stuff. That'd be cool.
But next week is fan art episode.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
can throw yours in there.
We
We can throw yours in there.
can do what we want.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it kind of relates because the person who
Yeah, exactly.
doing it off has actually made something for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I don't want to spend like 15 minutes on it. I just thought I'd shut that out because it's something I'm super proud of. And for once, it finally makes me feel a little bit like an artist. Because all the vectors I do are like, yeah, they're cool and everything. But like, this is kind of like something I can show to people and be like, this is what I'm capable of, which is really awesome.
Can I just
And I can
say,
also show to all the people who watch the show. They're just like, oh, right, they are kind of artists. Not just like four
Yeah.
random guys.
can I just say that I really like her main?
Thank you. It took 10 hours total for the main.
Wait, it took you 20 hours? That's an Academy record.
Oh, I hate you so much. I hate you so
Burn
much.
still hasn't seen the episode. Spoilers. Oh,
No, man.
Okay, so that's like 6 different things at once
yeah.
that we're talking about. We got a bunch of different things. So I guess
Wait,
we should just
are-
move on to the episode.
Are we a talking show or are we an art show? I forget.
Bit of both.
Hey, yeah, we're a show who just talks about ourselves.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm in Arizona right now. I
We're
don't
very,
even
we're very
mention that.
narcissistic.
No, Burn, don't bring up. Okay, people are in different places for the holidays, but dear God, we're going to be here for another 15 minutes talking about what we're doing for the holidays.
Okay,
Let's move on to holiday
Okay,
art.
moving on.
let's move on. So
Moving on.
this week for our theme, we had Hearths Warming Eve. So it's just holiday themed, wintry, kind of a whole mishmash of awesomeness.
Except in Australia where it's hot.
Yeah,
And summer.
you're weird and upside down.
Yeah.
So
No.
our first piece is called Hearths Warming Rarity and Speedy Bell by Stabzor.
Great
And
name.
It's a vector, which is absolutely adorable.
Right. Occasionally we like to throw, because it's a controversial thing to say, but I think in general vectors are harder to look at and be like, wow, this is an amazing piece of art, and that's one of the reasons why it kind of gets overlooked. But we do like to show vectors because it didn't match with the time of the week, and so it ended up just being the 4 of us. So I always think of Sir as part of the Cutie Crusaders history, as kind of like the unofficial 5th member.
He's our East Division.
So I thought it'd be really interesting this week, just to kind of get him on and have him on. I don't know what else to say.
If I remember correctly, the first week I couldn't come is because I had a play rehearsal.
Yeah, and then after that it was just like it just kind of ended up working out that you didn't have any time, and 5 people was a lot on the podcast, and one thing led to another, and it just ended up not working out. Especially now that you're off at university, like me, and so you kind of have like a roommate, and that doesn't work out. So, but you're on the holiday break now, like everyone else here. We're all having a good time off, and I
Alright.
thought I'd have you on as a cool little extra here. And it just so happened to work out because Burn can't talk. So Sir will be our 4th this week.
So he's our rambler this week.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe.
Not sure I can match Burned and talking, but see what I can do.
Yeah.
Tell me now.
Okay, so we've introduced Sir, Burn's sick. What else do we have to talk about? So we have we had holiday music at the very beginning, and thank you very, very much to Percussion Brony. Percussion Brony's been sending us in music, and that's what you can hear in the background of a lot of our episodes. And he's been sending them in randomly. And I asked him about a week ago. I asked him if he could make some holiday themed music, just for the show, because we wanted something very special. And he put his nose to the grindstone and came up with a couple of songs, and that's really awesome of him. And to be able to do that when we request it, because we know it takes a while to make music. So thank you very much, Percussion Brony, for doing that.
You're awesome.
Also, Pinky Dash, we have some new icons this week.
We do. As you can see below, we are each holiday themed. I'm eating a candy cane and I have a silver star on me because
I'm a reindeer.
Yeah, we're all like super adorable.
I'm
We are.
adorable.
And I want to give a huge shout out to the person who made them, which is Silver Rain Clouds over on DeviantArt and probably in the chat as well, because always there.
We love you.
We do. She's
Yeah.
a great friend of the show and of each of us individually. So
Yeah. So again,
Thank you.
we just
Thank
kind of
you
asked her
for
if she
this.
could, pop on some avatars for us, and that was really awesome. It took off some heat from us for kind of prepping for this podcast. So great shout out to her as well, because that is awesome that people can do that.
We're all adorable.
Yeah, it's so adorable. It came out really, really well, and we all love it.
Yeah.
No holiday icon. Happy holidays and welcome to the Cutie Crusaders, episode 26 for December 25th, 2012. I don't know how we possibly got ourselves in a situation where we're airing on Christmas, but hey, this is the cards that were dealt, so we're gonna go with it. Whee! So, normally we give shoutouts to people who help us out on the show at the end, but you probably have already noticed not only the music for our intro, but also our freaking adorable icons on the screen. So we're gonna get into the people who've made that for us in just a moment. But first of all, I'd like to introduce everyone. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Rainbow Plasma. I'm the organizer and editor of the podcast, and today I'm joined by
A sick Burndle1, and I am the special guest coordinator and also the editor.
Oh, I hope you feel better, Burned. I'm PhotoGuy317, and I'm the art coordinator on the show.
And I'm Pinky Dash. I provide the charisma to the show.
Comic relief.
the Moxie.
Comic relief, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, Burned is sick this week.
I think it's fitting that my icon has me eating a candy cane.
No, okay, wait, chill. We'll get these things one at a time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah.
So one at a time. Burned is sick. Meh. It sucks. So he's not going to be talking that much. He shouldn't be talking that much. We're going to make sure he doesn't talk that much. That he doesn't, mess up his throat. But this week we've got something extra. So to replace Burned, not to replace Burned.
Oh.
Nobody's ever replaced Burned. But to as a temporary
To-
buff for the show, we've got someone very special on. We've got someone by the name of Sir Certix. So Sir Certix, can you say hi?
Hello, I'm Sir Certix. I'm here to look pretty.
I'm here to look pretty. I'm all out of pretty.
It's true. He's a
So there's a story behind Sir, because Sir is Sir was when we originally started our old podcast before the Cutie Crusaders, the one that got picked up. We originally had 5 of us, and it was me, Pinky Dash, Flag Guy, Burned, and Sir. And it just so happened that during our first recording, Sir couldn't make it, and it ended up that fun for Sir. But Sir can just have his little thing that I made for him. He's awesome, OC.
It's adorable enough.
Yeah,
Well, it'll
It shall
count.
do.
Yeah.
you're
I'll
gonna
throw
have to
some
smush it.
mistletoe on it.
You're gonna have
We'll
to
figure it out.
smush him in there somewhere, Burned. Good
Yeah.
luck with that. Okay, so some other things to talk about. So this is episode 26, and we've been doing this for 26 weeks straight, which, first of all, is a great accomplishment. So I'd like everyone to just give a round of applause for the fact that somehow we've managed to do one every single week for
Yay.
26 weeks. So
Bang.
I'd like to
Yay.
personally applaud you, because without you, we wouldn't have stuck with it. I
Pretty
think.
much.
I know I'm stupid like that.
I don't think without you we would have even started this.
Yeah.
So we've been doing this for 26 weeks, which is half a year, which is really awesome. It just so happened to coincide with the holidays.
It's so weird. Everything's so coincidental.
Yeah, everything is coming together this episode. That's why our intro is so freaking long. And I'm gonna add one more thing to this, because on top of everything, we run an art show, and part of the reason that this art show is, at least why I assume it's so popular, is because we're just 4 guys who are average artists, talking to other average artists and above average artists, evidently, but just kind of chilling back. We're not like people who have made super fantastic things for years and know every single bit of theory. We're just, average guys who are talking to other average guys and girls about art. But occasionally we come out with moments that we are kind of proud of. And something that we were proud of in the last few weeks was Burn's little painting. That really came out amazing. And so
I don't think it's
Yeah.
that little, to be honest.
yeah, it was huge and it was awesome. And so like we want to take those opportunities when we kind of have, it's our show. We can kind of put our own stuff in here. So this last week I released something that I'd been working on for about 3 weeks. And I just wanted to take an opportunity to kind of pimp it out because it's something that like I've never spent this much time on one project, and it came out really well. So a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned what's the piece of art that you would look at for the rest of your life, and I mentioned something by Tiamaito, who has now changed his name, of course, to something else, Mr. Tia. But it was this Rainbow Dash piece, and it's been my icon for the longest time. And I decided, I think after that episode, that I was like, I want to take on a big vector project. I want to vector this. And so after 3 weeks and about 20 hours of work, I vectored it. So there we go. I just wanted to kind of shout that out because not only was it something I spent a lot of time on, but I think it came out pretty awesome. And the weird thing about it is that vectors take like a lot more time than people think, and it requires a lot more skill than people think.
Yeah.
Especially because we're all vector artists too, so you gotta throw stuff in here.
We can promote our own.
Sir is also a vector artist. So Sir, what do you think about this piece?
Well, I'd have to say that if they had a episode where they did Caroline, I can imagine it would look pretty much exactly like this. Because I don't see anything that doesn't look like what you'd see in the show. And for what I guess was their intention with this, that's probably the best compliment I can give.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of vectors want to do, right?
That's what it looks like. I guess one thing that is bothering me a tiny bit is Rarity's socks or stockings or whatever. Like at the bottom, I'm kind of not sure what's going on there.
Like
What do
gradient?
you mean? Oh, it's like she has feet?
Like
Oh,
the
she
toe
has
kind of
feet.
thing.
She has like feet?
I think she's just been walking backwards, and it's been kind of coming off on the front.
Maybe they're
Maybe.
munching.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that until you said that. But yeah, she kind of has like feet. What is
Rarity
this?
has toes.
Maybe
Lyra's
she was
jealous.
by the fire and her marshmallow legs kind of warmed up, and so now they're like floppy.
Well, has it like random little boots canon? Like, what is it when Twilight jumped in her like winter getup? Wasn't she wearing boots?
yeah, and actually they did.
Maybe.
They did.
Yeah,
kinda
they had
bend
like
out in the
toes, didn't
front.
they?
Yeah, they were like actual
Yeah.
yellow boots.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just noticed something quite funny. If you look at Rarity and Sweetie Belle, what they're wearing, they're complete opposites of each other in terms of what's covered.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
it's
Actually, a nice
adorable.
contrast. Especially, I like the hat matches the hair.
Yeah,
So cute. Very, very
Also, I
adorable.
want to point out
come on.
Stabzor, this guy, big on R/MLP vectors and gives a lot of good critiques.
Oh yeah,
Give
props for
random
that.
shout out.
it's always
He
nice to
did one
see.
for me recently.
That's awesome.
yeah. If you're
Yeah, I mean, like Sir was saying, a lot of vector art. I don't want to say all vector art because vector art is such a huge thing. But traditionally in the MLP fandom, vector art is it's there to kind of imitate the show or match the show because it looks almost exactly like the show if you do it well enough. And
Because that's how
I
the show's
think
made.
I think it is one of the highest compliments to say something that's original like this. It might be what we like to call Frankenstein, but a lot of this looks original and probably is original. And so to be able to do that